Steve Jobs had this legendary analogy for the computer. He called it a bicycle for the mind.
Hmm.
And if you really stop and think about that image, it's so powerful. It's this tool that takes your own effort and just amplifies it, letting you go farther, faster.
Yeah, way more efficiently than you ever could on your own. It's this vision of technology really extending our intellect.
Exactly.
The whole point is augmentation,
Right.
never replacement.
But here is the massive, unavoidable counterpoint, and it's really the core of what we found in the sources this week.
Okay.
For so many of us, our smartphone, the most powerful computer we've ever had, it feels less like a bicycle and, well, a lot more like a slot machine for the mind.
That's the perfect phrase for it. That's the core critique. The device, by default, it's just not configured to help you think deeply.
No.
It's all about impulsive interaction, these little dopamine hits, capturing your attention. It's designed for fragmentation, not focus.
So our mission today is to reclaim that little supercomputer in your pocket. We want to show you exactly how to shift it from a device that's constantly interrupting you to one that actually augments you. We're looking at strategies that really push for creation and intentional input over just, passively consuming stuff.
And to do that, we've structured this deep dive around three sort of foundational pillars from the research. First, you've got a master digital hygiene. That's about killing the slot machine.
Okay.
Second is building external thinking scaffold, so turning the phone into a tool for creation. And finally, automation and boundaries, which is all about securing that mental freedom.
All right, let's dive in.
Okay, so let's start with that first crucial step, this digital cleansing. The core principle here is just ruthless curation.
Ruthless.
Yeah. You have to give yourself friction-free access to the tools that actually extend your thinking, your notes, your calendar, but then you have to put up walls. You have to introduce deliberate friction for everything else.
Okay, but let me jump in right there. I mean, deliberate friction? If you make social media or news apps that inconvenient to get to, won't people just, I don't know, stop using them entirely? Aren't we just fighting human nature?
Well, you're fighting addictive nature, and that's exactly the point. The sources define this friction not as a barrier, but more like a necessary pause button.
Pause button.
Yeah, that extra 2 seconds, that extra swipe, having to type in a URL. It's just enough time for your thinking brain to kick in and ask, wait, am I doing this on purpose or am I just reacting?
I see. It's creating a moment of awareness before you start scrolling.
Exactly. The goal isn't to stop forever. It's to stop the impulsive use.
Okay, so let's get practical. The sources talk about this nuclear policy for your phone.
Right. And it starts, and you could argue it ends, with notifications. You have to be radical. Turn off nearly all of them.
All of them.
Almost everything machine-generated. News alerts, game updates, sale notifications, even email pings. If a machine is pinging you, it's riding you. You're not in control.
So you're saying keep notifications only from actual real-time humans, like calls, texts, maybe a specific Slack message from your boss.
Precisely. Everything else should be a choice you make to check, not a command that interrupts your flow.
Okay. What's next in this policy?
The second part is dealing with the infinity pools. Social media, news feeds, short video apps.
Right.
They cannot live on your home screen, period. They need to be moved into a deep folder, maybe one you don't even label, or, and this is the ideal, you only access them through a web browser.
Because typing in the URL adds that friction again.
Exactly. You want to make those time sinks feel like they take just a little too much effort for an impulse.
And then there was this really surprising suggestion, one you can do right now while you're listening, switch your phone to grayscale.
Yes, black and white mode. It's usually in your accessibility settings, and it is such a powerful psychological hack.
How does it work?
Well, most of these addictive apps, they use bright, vibrant colors. Those red notification dots, the blue links, they're all engineered to trigger a dopamine response in your brain.
So taking away the color makes it less exciting.
Far less. It's less stimulating.
I actually tried that once, but my calendar became impossible to read. It relied on color coding for different events. How do you deal with the practical drawbacks?
That's a great question, really practical challenge. The research suggests that for those addictive apps, the hold they have on you diminishes so dramatically it's worth the trade-off. For productivity apps, like your calendar, you're already going there with intention. But honestly, you can also see it as a kind of diagnostic test. If an app becomes useless without bright colors,
It might be selling you stimulation instead of actual utility.
you got it.
Yeah.
It forces you to ask that crucial question for any app. Does this make me think better or just feel something? If it's just about feeling something, it needs friction.
Okay, so we've stripped down the slot machine, we've taken out the flashing lights, now we need to build the actual engine for our bicycle.
Yes. And the key metric here, the single most important thing, is the ratio of your time spent creating versus consuming.
Right. We want to actively set up the phone so you can write, sketch, record, plan, and do it fast.
This is where the phone stops being a screen you just look at and becomes a true extension of your mind, an external thinking scaffold.
A scaffold. I like that.
Yeah, you're using it for what our own brains are bad at, which is, you know, perfect instant recall.
So the first step there is making it an amazing capture device. Frictionless capture. You need a quick access note app, Obsidian, Notion, whatever, so you can grab an idea the second it hits you.
And you can make that capture even more efficient. The sources really push for using voice to text.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the bandwidth is just so much higher. You can speak a complex idea way faster than you could ever type it with your thumbs.
I do this all the time when I'm walking. An idea hits, and if I stop to type, I lose it. But I can just talk into a memo app, and it's captured. It links that movement and reflection the sources talk about.
And speaking of those little breaks, instead of defaulting to a feed, you could use that 2-minute window for visualization.
How so?
Get a mind mapping app like MindNode or XMind. You can quickly sketch out a problem or a project. You're turning a distraction window into a little strategy session.
Okay, so that's creation. Now let's talk about the network side of it. Using the phone for just-in-time learning.
Right. The bicycle can go off-road. When curiosity strikes, you follow it. Use targeted tools, though, like Google Scholar or a deep dive on Wikipedia, not just a random search.
But that comes with a huge risk of just falling down a rabbit hole.
A huge risk,
Hmm.
which is why you have to practice curated input. And the key rule is to separate the act of finding content from the act of consuming it.
Okay, what does that mean in practice?
You find a great article, don't read it right there. Save it immediately to a Read It Later app, Pocket, Instapaper, something like that.
And why is that separation so important? Why not just read it in the browser?
Because the browser is the single most distracting environment ever created.
Fair point.
Saving it pulls the article out of that chaos of tabs and ads and puts it into a clean, focused reading space for later. You should also use RSS feeds with an app like Feedly to follow specific thinkers directly instead of letting an algorithm choose for you.
And for anyone listening who wants to learn things quickly and thoroughly, you can use those little 10-minute gaps for spaced repetition apps, right? Like Anki.
Absolutely. It's like interval training for your brain, using tiny moments to build really durable knowledge.
Okay, so we have all this input. How do we make sure it becomes real understanding?
This is maybe the most powerful technique. You have to practice compression, forcing yourself to distill the meaning of something right after you consume it.
Okay, walk me through that. I just finished a dense article. What are the steps?
It's a 3-step process, and you do it right in your Notes app.
Yeah.
Step 1. Write a 3-sentence summary in your own words. The main argument, the evidence.
Okay, that forces you to really process it.
It does. Then, step 2. You compress those 3 sentences into a single, elegant 1-sentence essence. The absolute core takeaway.
That sounds hard. You have to prioritize what really matters.
It's very hard.
Yeah.
And then, the final step is the most ruthless. Distill that 1 sentence down to a single keyword.
Just one word.
1 word. A tag. An anchor point. And here's the check. If you can't compress it down to a single keyword that unlocks the whole idea for you later, you probably didn't truly understand it in the first place. You just read the words.
Wow. Okay. That turns the phone into a meaning-making machine.
Exactly. Which brings us to our final pillar, automating the mundane stuff and setting boundaries.
The mechanical advantage.
Right. The goal of automation is just to reduce your decision fatigue, free up your brain for the hard stuff, for actual creativity.
And we can do this with tools like iOS shortcuts or Android Tasker, creating these contextual modes.
Think about it. To start deep work, you might have to turn on Do Not Disturb, open your Notes app, start a playlist. A deep work shortcut can do all of that with a single tap.
It removes all those little decision points.
Yeah, but I've tried this, and I find it can be too rigid. Like, what if my phone switches to my evening home screen at 6 p.m., but I need to work late? Doesn't that just add complexity back in?
That's a great point. And the key is that the automation should be based on intention, not just a clock.
Okay.
Time triggers are good defaults, but you should be able to override them. You decide to start a deep work session, you tap the button, and the phone locks down no matter what time it is. The phone is just there to enforce the boundaries you set. So I'm telling the phone what my intention is, not the other way around.
Precisely. And let's not forget the physical link. The source is really cush for combining movement and reflection. Like, try walking for 5 minutes while you record a voice memo about a problem you're stuck on.
And there's that other really bold rule.
Mhm.
Try to only use your phone while standing or walking.
It sounds extreme, but think about it. You rarely stand up to mindlessly scroll a feed. Sitting down is the psychological trigger for passive consumption. Standing up signals to your brain that this is an intentional, rough, action-oriented task.
That's fascinating.
And the final piece of this is the ultimate act of awareness. Your lock screen. Set the text on your lock screen to a sacred question.
The sacred question, like what?
To something personal to you. Maybe, what am I trying to understand right now? Or is this a necessity or a novelty?
Wow. So every single time you pick up your phone, you're forced to check your own intention.
It's a powerful micro-intervention. And it all comes back to that key insight. A bicycle only helps you if you're actually pedaling somewhere meaningful. You have to audit your usage weekly and ask yourself if you're pedaling towards your goals or just spinning in place.
This has been a really profound deep dive. We've gone from ruthlessly cutting things out to building these thinking scaffolds to automating our intentions. The core message seems so clear. Transforming your smartphone is an act of intentional design. You're moving it from a fragmentation engine to an instrument for insight.
Yeah, the device really becomes that bicycle for the mind when it's extending your memory, sharpening your reasoning, and demanding intention from you every single time you pick it up.
And for you listening, for the curious learner, applying these steps means turning that daily chaos into structured progress. You're freeing up so much mental energy that was just being spent fighting distraction.
And we should add, while the sources are so optimistic about the potential here, they also sound a really critical alarm.
Which is?
Neuroimaging and other reviews are linking excessive, uncontrolled use to real measurable costs in our attention and memory. So this powerful tool, if it's misused, can actually injure the rider.
So a final thought to leave you with. How are you going to protect your own cognitive control? Don't just set these rules up once. Make it a regular practice, maybe a digital Sabbath once a week, or a monthly app audit where you're ruthless about deleting things. You have to make sure the tool always remains the tool and never, ever becomes the master.